With the 2024 elections coming up right now, since now it's official that Biden has dropped out, and it seems like Kamala is gonna be the replacement for Biden, it's definitely an unprecedented state. The whole situation since nobody, I don't, as far as I recall, nobody so close to an elections has ever resigned and then appointed a new person. The interesting part is the people that are claiming to, oh, we're saving the democracy, they did not have elections for this. Even though I think some people on the Republican side they're making a big deal about that because let's be honest, if Joe Biden wasn't the candidate, they would have picked somebody else. True, probably wouldn't have been Kamala, but Kamala being the VP, I would say it sort of makes sense. But it is definitely a hypocrite move from their side since they always claim they want to save democracy. Regarding the election, I wanted to show here a map. That way, at least people have an idea more or less what kind of things to keep in mind and what's important. Because so many people talk about, oh, we're doing national polls, or this poll or this poll. And even though polls can give you a certain idea how things are going, it's not a definite thing because things can change. People can refuse to vote. More people can show up to vote, and those are other factors that can influence the result of the election. So let me show you guys here the map. I want to give you, based on what information that we have from the 270 272win.com website, which correlates a lot of information that comes from the polling, and it gives you to see which state it's leaning to, and it will give you a better perspective. So let me show you. So as you can see, here's the map that we have. The map already has pre-selected the states that are already likely to vote Republican or Democrat. For example, the obvious: Washington, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. All those are more likely to go Democrat. The battle, in my opinion, and based on what I've seen, it's going to be in the region of Nevada. It seems, based on recent poll that I have seen, Nevada seems to be one that might flip to red. It's still very close. It's still a 50-50. I'm going to try to get you the polls here in a second. As you guys can see here in this poll, according to the Hill and four polls that they have collected, Trump does have an 8% lead in Nevada, even though the data that we might be getting from some of the polls might be too early since it's still very recent between Harris being the official candidate for the Democrat side. But the most recent one that we have was from yesterday, and it's 49.5 to 40%. That's a significant difference. So there seems to be a chance that this state could be going for Trump. Still too early to tell, but this is the information that we have. Let me go to the other stage, which would be Arizona. In the case of Arizona, it seems to be slightly similar to Nevada. Surprisingly, two states that tend to be closer to the Democrats, at least in recent presidential elections. So Trump does have a 7.2% lead, according to five polls. Again, this is not nothing here on the polls is 100% accurate. This is just a reference. That way, at least you guys can make a judgment. So let's go here to back to the map, and on the map, let's grant to Trump, Nevada, a slight, like likely, but slightly likely to go Republican, the same as Arizona. Now let's go to the other map, which should be Georgia. Let's check here. Where is Georgia? Okay, so in the Georgia case, it seems to be that Trump has a 4.6% lead on Harris. I still see very difficult that Trump is gonna win back Georgia, especially after what happened in the 2022 midterms, where Trump, funny enough, Trump lost the Senate seat in Georgia, but the governor, a Republican, won the election. Meaning there's people or a significant amount of people in Georgia who reject Trump in the state of Georgia. It could still lean right on the next election, still unknown, still too early to tell. But let me show you here the information that I was referring to. So yeah, as you can see, Brian Kemp did win the election with a significant margin over Stacey Abrams, but as I mentioned, Trump lost on a really close election in Georgia, the Senate. He lost the Senate and he lost the presidency back in 2020. So Georgia is definitely one to watch. Personally, with a 4% in the polls, I think still probably a toss-up state. I'll probably slightly give it to Trump, but it could go either way. So let's go here on the map and let's give Georgia to a slight favorite to Trump. Now the next interesting state would be Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is another state that Trump lost in 2020, but it seems to be slightly leaning toward Trump. Let's take a look here. So it seems like Trump has a slight lead of 4.6%. So again, still fairly close comparing to Georgia. Again, this polls could be right now Trump winning by 4, and then in the election they both flip to Democrats. That's also possible. And that is two big states that if Trump wants to win the election, I believe he has to win those two. I think he might be able to afford to lose Nevada, or at least win Nevada and lose Arizona. But that's a state that he can afford to lose. But I think if he can secure both Georgia and Pennsylvania, let's do the numbers here. So yeah, if Trump was able to secure Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter what happens with Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, because with that it would be enough for Trump to win the election with 288. Again, to win the election, you will need 270, so that would be enough for him to get past the election. But let's say one of them flip. Let's say actually not flip, but Pennsylvania actually stays with the Democrats. I believe Minnesota is likely to go Democrat. And then Trump wins Michigan. Again, if he wins Michigan or he wins Wisconsin, he will be able to win the election. But guys, this is really close. This is really close. It can come down to one state. And the whole thing could be over. Like if, for example, if Trump wins Michigan, he can win the election. Even so, it will be an interesting thing to see how the polls change, how everything develops, to see how the public image of Trump changes and how Harris is able to impact. Even though Harris was not a likable candidate, she didn't even win the election in the state of California during the 2020 primary. But maybe with the support of the Democrat Party, there might be closer chance that something else might change. But if something does change significant, especially on any of the polls, I'll keep you guys posted. And that's probably would be it with my video. Have a good one.